The idea behind micro-frontends has always sounded pretty good. You can take one large monolithic front-end application and break it down into a bunch of smaller pieces that are managed separately, deployed separately, etc. But the reality is that it's usually a mess. CSS collisions, slow load times, and fate sharing, where shared libraries force painful coordination that kills your team's autonomy. That's all about to change with a brand new micro-frontend library called Web Fragments. Basically, Web Fragments does for the front end what Docker and microservices did for the back end. It introduces true isolation inside the web browser, achieved through lightweight virtualization. Created by Igor Minar, and with key contributions from Natalia Vendito, plus developers at Cloudflare, Microsoft, Netlify, and more. This library is about to revolutionize how we build, scale, and modernize massive web applications. The secret behind how Web Fragments work can be broken down into three main parts: request routing, DOM encapsulation, and JavaScript isolation. The Web Fragments gateway acts as the traffic controller. It can run on the server or directly in the browser via a service worker. It intercepts requests associated with any web fragment and routes them to the appropriate fragment server. The gateway is first used to get the initial HTML for the fragment. The fragment HTML is rendered on the page inside a shadow DOM. This shadow DOM encapsulates all CSS for the fragment and creates a mock document target for the fragment. Finally, we have the unique and clever way in which Web Fragments isolate JavaScript through a process called reframing. The problem is that JavaScript code downloaded by the browser could pollute the global window or collide with the host app. To solve this, Web Fragments creates a dedicated, isolated JavaScript context for each fragment. In essence, the fragment thinks it's running inside its own private document, unaware that it's actually embedded inside a larger application. Under the hood, this is achieved via specialized same-origin iframe. The environment is monkey patched to intercept DOM calls, virtually projecting those updates back to the fragment's shadow DOM in the main window. Does strict isolation mean a disjointed Frankenstein UI? No. With Web Fragments, you have isolation by default, but cohesion when you need it. Whenever you need your fragments and the host app to share state, they can easily access the same URL, local storage, or cookies. Fragments and the host app can also message each other directly whenever needed using a lesser known but extremely useful web standard, the Broadcast Channel API, which provides a pub/sub interface in the browser. Why should you use Web Fragments? Two reasons. First is scale. In a monolith, a minor change can break the entire application. Web Fragments prevent this. Teams can work independently, deploying their own fragments without fear of taking down the host. Second is modernization. This is the strangler fig pattern brought to life. You don't have to rewrite your 10-year-old monolith from scratch. You can replace it route by route or even component by component, modernizing your stack while keeping the business running. One last point I want to make. I would argue that the legacy modernization use case is even more important now than it's ever been in the past. The reason I say that is because we are entering the era of AI coding agents. We know that AI agents can build and maintain modern web applications at a fraction of the cost. But AI agents are notoriously bad at making changes to massive, complex legacy applications. They aren't trained on your company's 8-year-old spaghetti code, and they struggle with the idiosyncrasies of a large monolith. This is where our Web Fragments-based approach becomes the ultimate unlock. By carving out a specific standalone fragment, you create a bounded context that an AI agent can actually understand and work within. You lower the complexity barrier, allowing you to migrate off legacy code using AI labor that would otherwise be impossible to apply to a monolith. If you want to learn more about Web Fragments, including a Getting Started guide, API documentation, and demos, go to web-fragments.dev. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Shout out to GetHuman for sponsoring this video, and the Google Developer Experts program for supporting my channel, Tech Time Today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.